Shut up and sit down.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 12 of the Realest Guys podcast. You have me, Too Good, Crocker. This is Josh. We got Kyle to my right, if you could see me.
What up, guys?
Sly Guy. And then...
If there was a camera here.
Yeah, if there was a camera. That's right. And you might have recognized that voice.
Maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Wait.
He's talking really quiet.
There's another voice?
Well, aside from the ones in my head, there is another voice here at the table.
If there was a camera in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
All right.
Mario is back in town.
What's up, guys?
He's back.
I'm back. And better than ever. I know you guys want to hear that.
You're better than him.
Actually,
I don't know.
he's better than both of us this week.
Because who's the champ? I'm the champ of the pay-per-view picks.
The realest champ in the room.
Holla. Someone was dethroned. His name is Kyle. Whoop-de-whoop.
That Sly Guy over there.
All right, guys.
It's coming back soon. It's all right.
All right. So,
That's all right.
it's going to be a jam-packed show. As always, Realest Guys Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. You can hit us up on Twitter, Realest Guys PC. You can hit us up on Facebook, Realest Guys Podcast. Anywhere that you can find
We're
us.
on Twitch now, too, by the way.
We are on Twitch.
The Realest Guys on Twitch.
Yeah, we are on Twitch. That is correct, Mundo.
And, I'm going to cut you off here for a second.
Sure.
We didn't talk about this before. I forgot. It slipped my mind. But the reason why we're on Twitch is obviously, we're going to start, hopefully getting out a live stream of the podcast as we get that set up later on. But coming up in November, we're going to be participating in Extra Life's charity stream for the Children's Miracle Network Hospital. And, we'll attach a link to the team page if you want to sign up and help donate, raise some funds for the kids. The International Day of Play will be November 5th, which is a Saturday. It's 24 hours. You'll have Kyle streaming. I'll be streaming some games. My wife will be streaming some games. A couple of our buddies will be streaming some stuff. Just come out, hang out. And I think Josh might even get on there. You might see his Halo skills at work. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, but be on the lookout for that link and sign up. And again, it's for the kids, man.
You'd have to look really hard to find Josh's Halo skills. But
Hey, they're there.
they might be there.
All right. So, like I said, jam-packed show, gentlemen. We're gonna
The Gentleman. Sorry.
The Gentleman.
I just watched that episode of How I Met Your Mother.
So, so we got SummerSlam, we got Raw, we got the News Corner, we have Smackdown, and we have what our favorite wrestling video games are. So it's going to be a fun show, jam-packed. Let's go ahead and kick it off with SummerSlam. SummerSlam was
Meh.
meh. Yeah, I would say meh is a good word.
NXT beat them. I'm going to be honest with you.
I think Matt may be giving it a little much.
Really?
There wasn't any... Pay-per-views are the thing I look forward to, and there was,
That's what...
it felt like Raw and SmackDown.
Especially a big pay-per-view. It's a big 4, big 5. Don't play with that ball, Red.
Raw was meh. SummerSlam as a pay-per-view was on the same level as Raw.
Yeah, we'll get to Raw in a
We'll
second.
get to Raw. So, all right, so we had our pre-show. Sheamus defeated Cesaro. Pretty solid match. I think if it was on the main card, it would have been cut even shorter. But cool was on the pre-show. Sami Zayn and Neville defeated the Dudley Boys, which we find out is pretty much their last match.
And we'll get to that because
Yeah.
I've got a comment on that.
And then the Usos, American Alpha, the Hype Bros defeated Breezango, Ascension, and the Vaudevillains. That was pre-show.
Pre-show is what the pre-show is.
Yep, on to the main show. So we're going to go through this here pretty quick. Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, they defeated Enzo and Big Cass. That kind of caught me by surprise. I thought Enzo and Cass were going to go over.
Kevin Owens is bae, but he shouldn't have won. They shouldn't have won.
Especially in New York.
Yeah.
Very strange.
They shouldn't have won in a major tag team match.
Yeah.
Like, how is a tag team that's been together for years losing to
Legit.
people that hated each other 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Very Jericho that started the food fight. He's the one that threw the stuff at Kevin Owens.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It didn't
even
make
if it
sense.
was, even if it was, WWE was like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Unless they're putting Kevin Owens and Jericho together as a tag team for a run.
Who knows? Well, we might talk about that on Raw.
Speaking of runs, Sasha Banks' run as champion didn't last very long. So, but I think it was...
Are you Paul Blart? Because that was a great segue.
Right?
Segue.
Bring it a comedy.
So, pretty much, yeah, I thought Charlotte was going to win. It's kind of being said that Sasha Banks is dealing with some injuries. Is the reason why she lost?
Well, they did pull her from a few upcoming live events.
Yep.
There was a rumor going on that was pure speculation, and considering that we're now at the end of the week, I think it's safe to say it was a rumor, nothing more, that Sasha had failed the wellness policy test, and that was one of the reasons why they were getting the title off of her as quickly as possible in this manner. But if that was the case, we probably would have heard of a suspension by now. It was right around this time last week where we heard about Eva Marie and we heard about Roman when he was suspended back then. So it's safe to say I think it's a back injury that they're saying that she's dealing with.
Yeah, same with a back injury. The Miz defeated Apollo Crews. That was pretty anticipated.
I hate the Miz.
Yeah.
But he might have done something later on in the day that I'm sure you guys have heard about later on this week that we'll cover,
And the next match was the highlight of the night for me. AJ Styles defeating John Cena. What a great match.
Clean.
Yes.
That's the big thing. It was clean.
Cena let somebody else go over.
Yeah.
No lol Cena wins.
No law Cena wins.
No lol
LOL
Cena wins.
Law Cena wins. Law Cena wins.
No, nothing.
Nothing. Listen. This match.
No Cena wins.
This match was purer than a high school girl before prom. That's what this match was.
Wow.
Clean finish. Middle of the ring. Great back and forth action. Cena perplexed. And I love the way the commentary team sold it. Cena's always the one on the other side where his opponents are like, oh my God, how do I beat Cena? How do I finally stop him? And here you have AJ Styles kicking out from the Super AA, and Cena's look and the commentary team, their voices. I mean, it was a fantastic match through and through.
Great,
5-star.
Yeah, great story played.
Yeah.
What do you think,
It
Kyle?
was great. Phenomenal, even.
Beautiful. Even.
I mean, my biggest issue with... I used to be a John Cena fan. I still enjoy John Cena. My biggest issue with him recently has just been the fact that I feel like he doesn't put people over when they deserve it. And AJ Styles, if nobody else deserves it, AJ does. Yep. So I'm super happy that AJ went over. It was a great match. It was a clean win, like you said. I'm hoping we get back to that face AJ with the club being on the other show. But yeah. Cena didn't win, and I'm happy about that.
Speaking of the club, one thing, besides the match, my favorite moment or segment of SummerSlam was the tease with Finn Balor, when it was Gallows and Anderson in the back talking to AJ Styles, and then Finn Balor comes out and they're like, they put up the too sweet and they kind of tease it a little bit. I love that. That was hilarious. That tease was like,
yeah,
it was fantastic. Sorry. Moving right along.
At least 6 months now. So
yeah, at least
4 to 6 months.
Yeah,
but who knows? Maybe it's a blessing in disguise, and he comes back as that demon heel.
Yeah,
Who
knows? Speaking of heels, whoop whoop, we're gonna go to the Bullet Club, not the Bullet Club, the club.
The club.
I don't have the rights to that yet.
I know. They came out on top against the tag team champs, but only by disqualification. So
some shenanigating.
Big E comes back. Cleans house.
Pop. Big E got a solid pop, which was pretty awesome. I like Big E personally, just because he's a funny dude. He's a bit of a nerd. I don't know if you guys, a few years ago when they did WrestleMania 29 at MetLife, he had done a video interview following him through Axis and stuff, and it was revealed he's a brony. That's a big dude to be a brony, you know what I mean? And it's just funny that he's got that type of personality.
Where do you think the unicorns came from? The unicorn.
That actually makes more sense now that I think about it. Never put two and two together. But yeah, so Gallows and Anderson, they win through Jon Stewart again getting involved in a SummerSlam match, which I still don't get why Jon Stewart's relevant to the WWE.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Jon Stewart's son is interested in wrestling, but he's not even like that much of an avid.
Well, I mean, Stewart's a pretty big fan. He had that storyline with Seth Rollins last year.
Yeah.
I was actually at that Raw.
That was I think it was at SummerSlam, right? The whole.
Yeah.
And
then, but prior to that, he had a moment with Seth Rollins at a Raw.
That's true.
He'd had a little feud with him.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
our next match was the WWE World Champion match between Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler. Dean Ambrose coming up on top. Won't talk about this too much, but for the type of build that they made for this match, it underdelivered.
See, I tend to agree with you in the fact that it underdelivered a little bit, but the story behind it and kind of what I interpreted the story as was everything Ziggler can do, Ambrose did better. So every corner that Ziggler thought he had the advantage, Ambrose was back. Even that finish, which was a little confusing, where he went for the top rope facebuster, and they both landed on their feet, and Ambrose turns that into dirty deeds. Well, that's just Ambrose is just that much better than Ziggler. He's one step ahead of him. He knew what was coming. He countered it, bang into the finish, and 1, 2, 3. So while the match in and of itself was kind of meh, I thought the story was much better than what the match gave it.
For sure, I guess. Do you have anything?
I think that Ziggler and Ambrose have this kind of parallel going on with each other right now. It's almost like they're the two sides of the same guy. If Ziggler had come into the WWE the way Ambrose had, maybe we'd see him in a bigger spot right now. But they both have this immense talent, so it's almost like they have the same coin, but they're taking different paths to get to the final destination. And I think
delete.
And I think the story they told in the match was great, but it continues on to Raw, and you see the Smackdown. I'm sorry, we'll talk about it later. Continues on to SmackDown, and you see the respect that Dean Ambrose earned for Dolph in that match on the face, while Dolph is in his match on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I think they're going into I think they're going to build it into something bigger going forward.
We'll see.
Well, our next match that we had was the 3-on-3 women's match, and that's where Nikki Bella came back as the third opponent there. I thought this match was actually going to end up on the pre-show, but of course Nikki Bella's return is kind of a big deal for WWE. So, but anyway,
for WWE,
yeah, that's hence WWE. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Natalya, Nikki, and Alexa Bliss. Two of my favorite women wrestlers were in this match. Becky Lynch is my favorite women wrestler right now, and my second is Alexa Bliss.
Nice.
Those are my top two favorites at the moment.
Well, at this point in WWE's history, Becky Lynch would have been my favorite women's wrestler.
Well, right now, that's what I'm saying. Right now,
as of Sunday,
as of Sunday, Becky Lynch would have been my favorite women's wrestler.
So
in the WWE, as of Monday, things may have changed.
Okay, so yeah, we'll allude to that in a little bit. But no, so that was a okay match. Then we had the WWE Universal Championship match between Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. So actually, the Demon King versus Seth Rollins. Yeah, Finn Balor won. That was a surprise.
Surprise to some of you.
It's okay. I'm still the champ, so it doesn't matter what you think, Kyle.
Yeah, but
God, that belt is ugly.
Yeah.
I've been waiting all week to say that. Sorry. I'm done. I'll see you guys next week.
Terrible.
Yeah, that belt
horrible.
Not perfect.
Man. And okay,
That's terrible.
I get.
Oh, sparkly.
This is terrible. That's what the Spaniards call it. El Terrible.
Josh's 2-year-old actually did a belt on Microsoft Paint.
Came out nice.
Looks better than the Universal Championship. So
I get what Seth Rollins tweeted out after the match. I don't know if you guys saw that. He tweeted out saying that he was disappointed in Brooklyn's crowd for kind of hijacking the match a little bit because of their chants about the belt. And it's not about what the belt looks like, it's about what the belt means. I savvy that. But
it's not about what the belt means, it's about the what it means to the competitors in the ring that are entertaining the crowd.
The belt at this stage doesn't mean squat.
Well, if you look at it,
let him. Yeah, let's finish your thought.
Well, me or him?
You.
Oh, well, if you look at it from a brand split, it does mean something. It's the highest belt that you can attain as a Raw superstar. Which in this instant, we're now dealing with two separate universes, so to speak. So within the Raw universe, that's the belt that everybody's chasing. Within the SmackDown, it's the WWE type. Cool. But you've got to have people there. There's got to be somebody there, a PR person, somebody somewhere up in the ranks that can look at that objectively and say that that's just an ugly belt. And not to put it out there. Or hey, we've seen some designs on Reddit, on Twitter, of fans that just came out with not only similar designs that keep with the continuity of all the other belts, especially the ones that we'll get to later on in the show, but just look nicer. You want to bring some prestige, and a lot of the thing with wrestling is all this goofy stuff, and having stuff like that does not. I feel like it doesn't give the prestige that it should have as being a top belt of a brand, you know. And so anyway, roundabout's way, Seth Rollins is right. It is what the belt means to the competitors, but still, it's just an ugly belt.
Aside from the belt, though, the match was actually a great match. Mm-hmm. And the big talk about this match, though, which kind of overshadowed it, is the powerbomb to the barricade outside, which Finn Balor dislocated his arm, put it back into place, finished the match. We found out it's a torn labrum.
That's a tough SOB.
Yeah, that's crazy. So,
but was it the powerbomb? From what I read and kind of saw, it looked like it was more when he went over the barricade. His momentum kept carrying him. He may have landed awkwardly, and that's what.
It wasn't the It was him throwing. I mean, it was the powerbomb was the move, but Finn Balor trying to break his fall into the barricade and sticking his arm out. Yeah, that's where the dislocation happened because his body kept going, but he stopped it with his arm. Yeah, and his arm popped out of place, and so that it is what it is. What are your guys' thoughts on, of course, the rumors and Bret Hart's sentiments towards Seth Rollins? We know Bret Hart's not a big fan of Seth Rollins' work at this point. How much is it in that move? How much is it Seth Rollins? How much is it Finn Balor? What do you think about Bret Hart's, sentiments towards Seth Rollins? Saying he's dangerous in the ring and he needs to work on his technique and all that stuff.
Personally, Bret Hart had a lot of charisma, depending on where you watched him. There were some shows that he wasn't as entertaining on, but looking at his run, he's one of the best technical wrestlers that we've ever seen. So I'm gonna hold his opinion pretty highly when it comes to safety and technicality.
He actually had Bret Hart kind of had a pretty physical style, especially with his stomps, his punches. Everything was precise. He had a physical style and didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah. Right? So I'm going to hold him in pretty high regards. What he has to say in pretty high regards. Now, I don't think it's all Rollins' fault. I think you're right. If you're not ready for a move, anything can happen at any time. But we have seen it a couple times. Sting, Finn. So is it just a unlucky coincidence that multiple people are getting hurt by Rollins, or is it really that he's not as great of a wrestler? And I think he's a good wrestler, and I think it may be a mixture of him trying to do stuff with people who aren't ready to take those kind of moves. We don't know how much him and Finn have worked together going into this. We don't know if Finn was ready for that, and was kind of trying to, because it's his first pay-per-view, like, I'm hyped, so I'm going to try the move anyway. But we all know things happen when you take moves that you're not prepared for. You don't know. What was it? Triple H doing the pedigree. What was that guy's name that jumped up way too high because he thought it was going to be the power bomb, the overhook power bomb, and he jumped way too high.
Owen Hart and Steve Austin.
Owen Hart and Steve Austin with the broken neck. Owen Hart trying to come out of rafters. Yeah. Like, when you're not ready and you're not prepared to do certain things, people get hurt. Yeah. Whether you're the one giving the move or you're the one taking the move.
Here's my thing. Seth Rollins has been doing that move for a while. And in that time span, 2 people have been injured. One being a 63-year-old man, Sting. Probably shouldn't have been taking that move in the first place. But again, I'm sure they went over it and everything was approved. Another one being Finn Balor here on Sunday. Like you said, he tried to stop his momentum from going over. Maybe he wasn't comfortable taking the move. It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but a whole lot of column Bret Hart needs to shut up. I mean, he's just a salty individual at this point, and I'm sick and tired of all the criticism that he has to give to today's product. He just comes across as a person who just can't get over himself. And I'm just kind of tired of the criticism that he lobbies. He was complaining about, well, why is Triple H rated higher than I am in this video game? When, Seth Rollins is an unsafe worker. He's reckless. I mean, dude, come on. I get that you have your issues with Goldberg and all that. And I mean, again, he brought it up, 18 years after he last wrestled Goldberg when he got hit with that stiff kick that gave him a concussion. He's still throwing shade to Goldberg.
Yeah, he mentioned Goldberg in his most recent
Exactly.
I
mean, Bret Hart just comes across as just, like I said, somebody who needs to get over himself. Look, wrestling in and of itself is dangerous. As much as it is predetermined, it's dangerous. You do have somebody else's life in your hand. But I don't think Finn Balor is dumb and would take that move not knowing what the risks are. He took those risks upon himself. They clear those moves. Yeah. There's a reason why some moves have been banned, pile driver. And it's one of those things where I think it's just a freaky coincidence. I don't think Seth Rollins is necessarily a reckless person. He's not Ryback, He's not reckless. Yeah. It's just things happen, and it's unfortunate that it happened to him twice.
Right. And so we're going to move on here pretty soon, but it's like you said, man, moves are agreed upon most of the time before these things, and it's just there are some accidents that do take place. I don't think Seth Rollins is extremely reckless, but like things like the John Cena knee to the face, I mean that I can argue and say, okay, maybe, but there's just like you said, Seth Rollins hasn't changed his style.
No.
Yeah.
At all.
He's been wrestling like this since he was in the Indies.
And, I mean, I think it kind of goes to Finn Balor when he was trying to break his fall. If he wouldn't have put his arm out there right there, that wouldn't have happened at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But anyway, interesting conversation. Moving on, U.S. Championship, Rusev versus Roman. It pretty much...
No contest.
There's no contest. There's no result. So...
Why are we still cheering Roman? He comes in and interrupts somebody's wedding ceremony or wedding celebration. He attacks viciously after Rusev is trying to walk away. He's trying to leave. He's like, okay, fine, whatever. He's getting help out the arena. Again, kayfabe. And then Roman comes back and attacks again. I mean, why are we still cheering Roman?
Yeah.
Because
WWE.
Yeah.
And part of me is, are we really cheering Roman? Or is that something that WWE is putting on? Because we know that wrestling in the past has put in their own audio for certain things.
Yeah.
Goldberg had the Goldberg chant multiple times put in by WCW because the audience wasn't doing it.
Well, I mean, the audience is booing him out of the building. Well, I mean, I think when he's saying, are we cheering for him, is like...
Why is he portrayed as a face of the story?
Yeah, why is WWE continuously pushing him that way? And they're not. So... but let's go ahead and they're just not doing it the right way. The final match we had Brock Lesnar defeating Randy Orton by TKO. A lot of speculation around that finish. I'm 100% okay with it. I am looking forward to the next time Brock Lesnar wrestles somebody, hoping that it's actually a legitimate match, because he's kind of having these I'm a destroyer. So. But that's what they did in this. He destroyed Randy Orton. It's being said that finish was kind of brought up that day to Randy Orton for that finish. That's what I read today.
Kyle and I had a conversation about it before the show. I've got mixed feelings on the finish. I think it's a smart finish, but the end result was stupid. What I'm trying to say is, had they gone with the elbows, I don't think it was smart for them to have Brock intentionally hit Randy with the elbow. If they would have went a blade job for that, because I'm all for blood, especially if it advances the story and it builds somebody up, I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that. If Randy had bladed instead, and I know blading is frowned upon in the WWE, you get suspended and fined and blah, blah, blah. If Randy had bladed instead of taking those elbows legit, I'd have been more okay with the finish. Only because the risk, and this is where if Bret Hart had criticism on Brock Lesnar about this, I'm 100% in his corner on that, because that is dumb. That's reckless. You've got somebody who's a trained MMA fighter, former UFC heavyweight champion, who knows how to throw elbows with purposely breaking and cracking somebody's skull open. That's stupid. That's reckless.
And mention that, actually story broke today that they agreed upon that before the match.
And that goes back to...
And that's so, I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, they agreed on it.
Randy knew what he was getting into.
For shock, it was for shock value. You know, trying to blur the lines between reality and scripted, and I think they did a great job with that.
Yeah. We've had kind of an uncanny Brock Lesnar as the face here for a while, just because he hasn't been facing people that anybody wants to cheer. So if you don't want to cheer the other guy, you cheer Brock Lesnar because you know he's going to beat the other guy. So I think it's a move to get him back to that vicious heel persona that he has. People love Randy Orton, so if Brock Lesnar beats the snot out of Randy, it kind of puts some heat on him with fans. But I agree. I think it's reckless to be throwing those elbows, really connecting with those punches. And I didn't see all the news y'all saw that broke. So I'm looking at it as the normal fan at this point because I didn't see all that news and going, well, we've had stories of Brock not pulling his punches in the past. We've had stories of Brock getting angry and actually hitting people and trying to do damage, and that's what happened at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brock being angry, you know, and what about Chris Jericho being angry? That whole deal in the backstage. It said they're in the gorilla position. Chris Jericho came to check on Randy Orton, see if he was okay, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Brock Lesnar comes in and says, mind your own business, calls Chris Jericho a few names. They get to pretty much in each other's faces. Becomes almost a physical altercation. They need to be separated. Only with Vince McMahon coming in saying, Chris Jericho, what's wrong with you as part of the show?
And then they went back at it afterwards, and Triple H said that Jericho was only standing up for the locker room, which I thought was admirable, A. B, Brock comes across as way too thin-skinned, and obviously I would never say that to him face-to-face, but you know, he comes across as a little bit thin-skinned, and honestly, I think the biggest villain out of this was Michael P.S. Hayes. You know, Meltzer was reporting that, you know, it all started because Jericho asked P.S. Hayes if that was the finish, if that was the intended finish, and Hayes kind of brushed him off, kind of gave him a non-answer.
Yeah, like, just give him an answer.
Yeah, just tell him if yes or no. I mean, you know...
Could have already thought you say yes, that was the intended finish.
Cool.
Everything's done.
Okay, I'm just checking off on Randy, making sure he's good.
Right.
You know, and Jericho didn't like the non-answer. Kind of felt like Brock kind of went to business of himself, called it out. Brock happened to be walking by as Jericho, you know, cursed about the match, and Brock took it personal. So, you know, like it was a miscommunication. But hey, Jericho has fought Goldberg. You know, back in WCW, he got into an altercation with Goldberg and physically restrained Goldberg, and he got toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar. If nothing else, Jericho's the freaking man. Jericho's that dude, pretty much. I mean, you know, he balls of steel, dude. Balls of steel.
That wrapped up
doubt.
SummerSlam.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So at this point, we'll turn it over to the Commissioner of Raw. We got Mario.
Back in the building.
Go ahead.
This is going to be fun.
I mean, listen.
We have the actual Commissioner of Raw running all this
Here's
time.
the thing.
Yeah, right?
I've heard the shots you've been taking, not just across the table, but across the damn city when I'm at work, right? I've heard them shots.
Don't get mad because you got the B show.
I've got one word to give you.
You got to think of that word
I got
now?
2 words to say.
Oh, 2. Okay.
It's true. Raw has been a B show. It really has.
Hey, thank you.
And while Monday wasn't as bad as last week, it was still pretty meh. I'd say if SummerSlam was meh, Raw was meh plus. You know, it was just, we opened the show, meh plus, you like that? We opened the show with Finn Balor after we've learned that he actually has a torn labrum. He's got to, relinquish the Universal title, which, hey, more props to him because he looks a little more stylish without the belt on because, God, that belt's ugly. So that's how we opened the show. It's heartfelt. The crowd's behind Finn. Finn promises to come back in the 6 months. Better than ever, come back to fight for his title. Awesome. And that immediately leads to Seth Rollins coming out. I don't know about you guys, as much as I like Rollins, and I know he was my number 1 pick in our mock draft, and I know he was the number 1 pick in the real draft. kind of sick and tired of Rollins in the main event. It's been about 2 straight years where he's been floating that main event picture. I can do without him having a title.
Not only that, I am sick of Rollins in the main event, but give Finn his moment. Let Finn have the moment in the ring where he relinquishes the title. And this isn't just Rollins. This is all of WWE's booking it this way. But give Finn that moment. He deserved it. He earned it. He won the championship. Give him the moment to relinquish his title, get out of the spotlight in peace, and be able to focus on healing. But it pulls away from Finn's moment to have Rollins come out.
But
then
he's a heel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's what Rollins does. And we'll actually... Seth Rollins was supposed to actually be out of the title picture for a little bit. Had Finn Balor not been injured,
CrossFit
So that's the word, And in my news corner, I'm going to go over a little bit more details. But yeah, Seth Rollins wasn't. But now that Finn Balor's injured, he's kind of back in the title scene. Whatever.
Which, in WWE's Ultimate Wisdom, when you have a champion who has to relinquish the title and you don't have a clear-cut, backup, what do? You make a tournament, which is what we get.
Yep.
So, we get a tournament this week, and next week will be a Fatal 4-Way, if I remember correctly.
For the championship.
For the championship on Raw, we're going to have a Fatal 4-Way. So, we had 4 matches to decide who was going to be the participant for that following thing. And the first match of the night was Seth Rollins against Sami Zayn for the chance to advance to the Fatal 4-Way. Sami gets hurt, maybe. I don't know. Early in that match, twisted up his ankle. It's funny, we were talking about Seth being kind of reckless, and Sami just, no contact, twist his ankle coming off the ropes. I'm not sure if that's necessarily WWE trying to wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Somebody else got hurt while wrestling Seth. But in the end, Rollins wins with a pedigree.
I think he rolled his ankle. I think he oversold it, though, really well in the match.
Yeah, he sold it.
There's no reports of him being hurt, so he definitely sold it really well, because it had me messed up for a second, because I was like, oh, crap.
Fair enough.
Not another, but yeah.
So Rollins wins, and that brings us to our next match, which is Kevin Owens against your boy Neville.
Is this your Bay versus my Bay?
Bay versus Bay.
What's going on?
Oh,
we have Bay versus Bay for the
I hate that word.
Undisputed Realest Guys podcast champion.
Ugh.
And my Bay wins. Beats Neville.
Put your ones up.
Oh, you got to put him down now because he lost.
He lost, but I'm gonna Neville even when he's loses. Always Neville
when he loses.
Shut up, guys.
So I think it was a good back and forth match. They advanced the story a little bit.
Josh's face right now.
If there was a camera right there.
Josh's face right now.
But Jericho gets involved a little bit. Kevin Owens gets the win, and everything's good in Jericho so far through Raw.
So far,
New Day comes out with a big celebration. 365 days of tag team champion. Which is cool, which is awesome. Which kind of upset me because I was expecting them. I actually called them losing on Monday, on the 1-year anniversary of them winning the title. And that didn't happen. We did get a match between Big E, first official match back, going up against Carl Anderson. And Big E wins. Simple, cut and dry, cut and paste match. Whatever. We get the cringeworthy segment of the week.
Oh, man.
I hate the word cringe, cringy, and all those similar words. But, dude, there was something spectacularly awkward about Titus O'Neil with a live microphone.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think he's been getting, a lot more FaceTime. And I think they were like, you know what? Let's try this. And they gave him the mic. And I'm pretty sure when that was done, they said, let's not try that again.
WWE, listen to the podcast. Take the same policy that you have with Roman Reigns right now and just encompass Titus O'Neil into that as well. Just no talking.
I like his in-ring domination, but holy smokes.
If there's one person who should not have a live mic in his hand besides Roman Reigns, besides Kalisto, who's a good lucha something.
When he was drafted, and then he runs off. Like, what was that? I was laughing.
Titus O'Neil does not deserve a mic in his hand. You want to put him as the face of a Be a Star program. You want to put him as a charitable individual, as a stand-up father. Great things. Let him talk on there where you can comfortably have it be edited. Do not give him a live microphone. Do not give him a live microphone in Brooklyn, where, I mean, you want to talk about smarks. Chicago, Brooklyn, Philly. 3 smarkiest cities. You don't give Titus O'Neil a mic in any of those 3 cities. And then we won't waste 5-10 minutes of our life watching that cluster mess of a segment. It was just, And we
won't waste this part of the podcast talking about such a.
We're going to continue
segment.
Because one of the realest guys, the legit realest guys, the 7-foot monster.
You can't teach that.
And you can't teach that, ladies and gentlemen.
Can't.
Beats Rusev.
I tried to teach it to Josh one day.
Somehow he shrunk.
I did. It's pretty bad.
Them gains, though.
Dude, did you see the video?
I saw the video
Twitter?
last week, yeah.
24-inch pythons.
But Big Cass wins via countout against Rusev. Rusev selling up his injury again. I'm just happy Big Cass is getting a little bit of a push. We talked about this when they first debuted. Vince probably sees money in Cass. And I see money in Cass. He's he's like 6'6", but with the...
He's 6'9".
6'9". You know, but with the stuff in there, he's 7 foot tall. You know, he's for a big man, he can move.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what's going to go on here with Big Cass.
What do you guys think? Pause here. I
hate Charlotte.
What do you guys think of talking about the realest guys? Them always having Enzo take the fall. That's my dog, and he always loses. He didn't wrestle that night, but what do you guys think?
He lost at SummerSlam. He's the one that ate the pin.
He eats the pin every time.
I think it's the same thing as when Club, who takes the pin 90% of the
Carl
time.
Anderson.
Because you don't believe some of those guys are going to pin Luke Gallows.
I'll give you another
and keep
one.
him down.
The Shield, who ate the pin. Dean Ambrose. Ben Seth Rollins. Roman never was the one to consistently get pins. That's just WWE's way of booking their stars.
They're big guys.
The people who they decide are going to be the main event level talent, regardless if they have the talent to main event.
And it's more than it's Vince.
Yeah.
I think it's just Vince's fascination with big guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a certain... I mean, you look back at Andre the Giant. Let's start there. You look back at guys like Hulk Hogan. You look at guys like Buddy Rogers. Bruno Sammartino. We're talking about a company where, yeah, at this point, it is just entertainment. And what's more entertaining? Would you rather see somebody built like me or Kyle going up and winning all the time, or would you rather see somebody that's cut?
I mean, they do build Kevin Owens like that. And let's be real, he's built kind of like us.
Well, he's built like us, but notice he's not really sniffed the main event title picture until recently.
Anyway, so bringing it back to like Enzo though, like, do you think it affects his stock at all? Taking the pin all the time?
Go ahead.
Are we talking about going forward if there's a split?
No, just the being able to take him serious in an in-ring setting.
No,
as a threat.
No, because one, he's a team right now.
Yep.
And what does a team do? You're supposed to have your teammate be able to counter all of your weaknesses.
Yep.
Big Cass does that really well for Enzo.
And vice versa.
And then going forward, if there is a split, the thing that Enzo shows as a tag team member right now that will help him in a split is he has a fire, pardon the John Cena-ism, never say die, never give up kind of. He will fight until he can't fight anymore. And we watch
on top of
Ziggler, Ambrose, smaller guys doing that and making
and
it
continue
somewhere.
to get over. And the biggest thing, his strength far outweighs his weakness. His mic skills, his vocabulary, the way he talks, the way he can command a crowd. And yeah, it was Brooklyn. And yeah, he was quoting Biggie. But he had the entire crowd singing a song on Sunday. When he first debuted, he said, "I ain't done yet," and the crowd shut up. His biggest strength will never allow him to be anything, will never allow him to be an afterthought in that company. And I mean, he can eat the pins, but,
Look at...
Cool.
his biggest strength is his mic, and because of that, he's always going to have the crowd behind him.
Yep.
Now, the last person to always have the crowd behind him won a championship, even though nobody in the authority or in the COO or
That's
CEO wanted him in that spot.
Speaking of not wanting somebody in the spot, we are sick and tired. I might be speaking for myself. I'm sick and tired of seeing Charlotte with the title. I was ecstatic when Sasha Banks won it, and with Sasha losing on Sunday for whatever reason, I'm pissed off again. Her promos suck. She's vastly overrated as an in-ring performer, in my opinion. I have yet to see her go through a match that hasn't been botches here and there. And yeah, again, it falls on the two that it takes to tangle. But I'm kind of over Charlotte with the title, and I'm really hoping that the newest free agent signing to Raw, it's Bayley.
What?
It's Bayley.
What?
The hug life has come to Raw.
Yes.
I
didn't choose it. It chose me.
Exactly. And I'm really hoping that she doesn't choose the WWE Championship, but that the WWE Women's Championship chooses her. I'm ready for that.
I'd be okay if the WWE Championship chose her too. She can
over
hold them
Charlotte.
both.
I'm over Charlotte. I'm over Dana Brooke, who lost to Bayley in Bayley's debut.
I'm going to disagree with you on a couple points.
Go ahead.
I like the belt on Charlotte. I don't necessarily like Charlotte, but I like the belt on Charlotte.
The belt looks good on Charlotte.
My issue is I don't want other people with Charlotte. If Charlotte's going to have a title reign,
Okay.
I want Charlotte to have a title reign,
sign
not
that.
Charlotte and Dana to have a title
sign
reign,
that.
or Charlotte and Dad to have a title
And I
reign.
think ultimately my frustrations lie in that with her being the women's championship.
Yeah.
It's a lot of me, but I need all this help from you.
Yeah,
You know?
and I will say, she may have botches here and there, but every match has botches here and there. She's one of the best wrestlers right now in the women's division. I mean, I would say the 4 horsewomen of NXT, and then you throw like Natalya.
Asuka.
Well, she's not in the women's division; she's still in NXT. But then you throw like Natalya, and maybe
That's it.
Yeah.
Eva Marie when she gets back.
Ooh. I know you're joking, and I still want to hit you for that comment.
Braun Strowman gets another squash match. I just like the fact that the guy before said, I love big men. That was just funny to me. What was his name? Johnny Knockout. that was just funny to me.
That's the best name for
So bad.
That's the best name for a jobber ever. Because every time you get in the ring, you're just going to get knocked out.
The funny thing is, wasn't the crowd chanting? I felt like the crowd was chanting for him. I don't know. Might have been me. Bit of sad news. The Lovely Boys retired. I know a few weeks ago we talked about their contract getting renewed, but they retire, and out comes Gallows and Anderson to put them on blast and put Bubba through a table, and Gallows and Anderson probably gonna win the tag team titles here soon. It would only make sense.
So we didn't actually talk about your news corner, so I don't want to ruin anything. Is there a possibility that maybe this is a storyline? No?
No,
Okay.
Dudley Boys are...
Okay. I'm thinking about like how we could go story, me being me.
Yeah.
You get a feud with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows now because of this, and they stay because of...
it could, but
they stay because of pride and integrity.
Everything I looked up is
Okay.
It was legit.
And that was my thing. They put over Sammy and Neville, which individually they're great wrestlers. As a tag team, it doesn't make any sense to me that the Dudley's last match, you're supposed to go out on your back. Yes, I can savvy that, but you want to put over a tag team, I think, and they put over 2 random people.
On that, it's not part of a news corner, but there's news that moving forward that Neville and Sami Zayn were actually going to tag for an extended foreseeable future. But now with Finn Balor being injured, they kind of Sami Zayn and Neville being in that tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still going to take place, but they still could. So
one can hope, because that would be a fun team to watch.
One can also hope that there will be a day that Roman will finally lose a match. But unfortunately, now that we're
Roman wins.
Damn it! You took my punchline. Unfortunately, now that we're in a time and place where Law Cena loses clean in the middle of the ring to AJ Styles, means Roman Reigns continues to reign supreme on Raw, which sucks. He beats Chris Jericho in a match that, it was a Roman match. Let's put it that way.
This match shouldn't have happened, and here I'll tell you why. I don't think Big Cash should be in the Fatal 4-Way. I don't think he should be. You know, it'd be real. We know Roman Reigns is going to be in that Fatal 4-Way because, you know, Finn Balor got injured and Roman Reigns. They need another face supposedly in that match. Would have been dope is I would have liked to see Chris Jericho instead of Big Cass in that match. Mm-hmm. I know you have heels, like you have 3 heels and 1 face technically in that match, but how dope would that have been? Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho, and Roman Reigns in a Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah.
I mean, but now you have...
But then that's 1 versus all, and all Roman wins.
But do you really have 1 versus all?
Yeah.
We've seen it in different matches. Dean Ambrose and Roman teaming up against people. Roman and Seth have even in certain matches
against Ambrose
worked together. So we could see a newly formed wannabe tag team in the Canadian Bacons versus the old Shield. And then have that for a little bit in that Fatal 4-Way, which would have been a really cool piece to work on.
Here's what I think is going to suck next week. Kevin Owens is going to lose, I guarantee it. Chris Jericho is going to get involved, and there's their feud. So you want to talk about earlier about how, you know, they're best friends now after they were feuding a couple weeks ago, and then they're going to go back to feuding, I think, after next Monday. I mean, you know.
I hope you're wrong.
I'm
not going to argue your point, but I hope you're wrong because I think Kevin Owens deserves
Law
more
Rollins wins or Law Roman wins. Those are going to be the 2 options. You know, and we'll. But now, anyway, that ended Raw. Roman on top again as usual.
That ended our Raw, and we're going to go to Josh's News Corner. All right, welcome back to Josh's News Corner. We got a few items for you. And we're going to go ahead and go on over to Smackdown Live. Sometimes I forget to say the live part still.
It makes sense.
So we just got done talking about the Universal Championship picture, really, like with the Fatal 4-Way and everything. Some original plans for Finn Balor and the Universal Championship. You may have read this.
Yeah, I did.
Which you would have been super happy, Mario. It involved Bay.
Yes, it did.
Kevin Owens.
You said it.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
Episode
Josh
12.
said Bay.
Josh said it. There's our title.
Only took 12.
I have to throw up right now. I actually threw up in my mouth a little bit. But, no, yeah, so WWE originally had planned for Finn Balor to defend the Universal title against Kevin Owens at Clash of Champions on September 25th. Chris Jericho also had a plan to be involved in that to where it could have ended up being a triple threat match at Hell in a Cell with Chris Jericho, Finn Balor, and Kevin Owens. How dope would that match have been?
That's a smart sweat dream right there.
Right? Well, not going to happen. So, but yeah, what a bummer. Pretty cool story. Moving on. So we have, I don't know if you're familiar with a guy named Shawn Michaels.
I may have heard of him.
Shawn Michaels? HBK?
Who?
Mr. WrestleMania?
Who?
Who?
I may have heard of him.
Yeah.
Time or two.
Mr. WrestleMania. That's
Mr. WrestleMania.
Brock Lesnar because he beat the streak, right? That's his title.
You're fired. So anyway, I don't know if you guys heard, there were rumors about...
Josh just got so mad because I brought up the most disappointing thing in his life.
Hey. It's my segment.
True story.
The voices are in my head are just driving me crazy. So yeah, if you're familiar with Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania, he was actually rumored to be training or helping train wrestlers at the WWE Performance Center. Now, people interviewed Triple H and asked him about that, and Triple H said, well, it's in Shawn Michaels' court. The job is his if he wants it. Now, news came out that Shawn Michaels actually put his property in Texas for sale.
We should buy it.
It's like almost $2 million. It's like almost 500 acres.
Split 3 ways?
Exactly. That's only like 700 each of us. 700K.
So, but anyway, yeah, he put it for sale. It's all about relocating to Orlando. Cool thing is, there's an update this week. Triple H put on his Instagram that, hey, I got a little bit of help for this week's NXT episode, and it's him and Shawn Michaels next to an NXT ring. So I'm really looking forward to what that's going to bring to NXT and to the Performance Center.
Good.
And the next season of Breaking Grounds.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah. Breaking Grounds was dope.
It was.
It
was a great episode. And you could watch, or a great season, and you can watch it for only
$9.99.
Yep.
On the WWE Network. There's your plug.
Yep. And we tried to do it at the same time. We failed. So,
We're not
and then our
nearly
last
as
little bit
good as-
for Josh's News Corner is viewership is on the rise. Raw has been pretty steady, right? Raw is your kind of guaranteed, However, SmackDown Live is increasing week over week. Last week it had like 2.47 million viewers. This week it had 2.7 something million viewers. So, in no competition with the Olympics, of course. Check this out though. Viewership is not as much as Raw, but most polls that I am seeing from people actually viewing the two shows are enjoying SmackDown Live significally more than Raw.
It doesn't surprise me.
I was about to say, Mario, which one are you enjoying?
It really doesn't surprise me. I mean, SmackDown's just... they're on fire right now. I'm not sure if...
It's easier to watch, dude.
It's
2 hours.
It's that, but it's not even just that. It's just the show just flows so much better. It's not like, okay, guys, this is how Raw is. We've got the main picture, and then whatever the hell else we can cram in there. Because we've got 3 hours, let's just cram as much crap as we can in there. Whereas SmackDown is... You know what? This first segment is going to tie directly to this 5th segment, which is going to tie back to the 2nd segment, which at the end of the night is all going to come together into one nice package.
Yeah.
And I mean, ultimately, Raw can't do that right now. They haven't shown the ability to do so. And it's going to get worse because once Monday Night Football starts, I mean, it's a wrap. Raw's ratings are going to hit the floor. And SmackDown's just going to rise above.
But Raw is still going to be the highest watched show on the USA. For Mondays. Mondays.
But I think overall, SmackDown's going to take that title.
SmackDown Live, I am excited for it. It definitely, it's restored SmackDown completely.
I do have hope that we are getting Cruiserweight division soon. And I have hope that...
Yes, I forgot about that. Cruiserweight division is going to Raw.
But it's exclusive to Raw.
Yes, very exclusive.
I have hope that adds...
Yes.
Because I'm hoping that right now with so much time and so little, that's why it all kind of feels like a jumbled mess.
September 19th, we get Cruiserweight.
Looking forward to it.
So I'm hoping with the Cruiserweight adding those guys in, maybe we get more of a well-packaged show.
And we get to look forward to a purple WWE title that looks like the other ones for the Cruiserweight. Huh?
Yeah.
Red and blue makes purple.
I'm just talking about for the Cruiserweight Classic.
There's no blue inside of the Cruiserweights, though. They're not on SmackDown. Why would you mix them?
All right, we're moving on, Kyle. You're fired. Remember? No. Anyway, so that actually...
So since Kyle's fired, wow.
You're fired, too.
I feel like Titus.
You're fired also. All right, this is now the Josh, the Realest Guy podcast.
This is the Too Good podcast.
This is just the Too Good podcast. Oh, anyway, so that wraps up Josh's News Corner. Man, Mario, stop going ahead of everybody.
Was I really ahead?
You were
both times.
Speaking of titles.
Hey, that hurt. That hurt right in my heart. Oh, I thought you were making a shot at him taking the title from me.
No.
Never mind. Okay, yeah, speaking of titles.
That's funny.
Off the rails.
We got the dopest titles released on SmackDown. Well, and by dopest, I mean better than the other title that was released. But they look great. They showed the tag team titles up in the opening segment.
Beautiful belt.
Beautiful with the
same faceplates.
Same faceplates, but on a blue leather.
And the blue leather just looks so much nicer.
It does.
And the silver plates.
And the silver plates.
Yeah, silver
the quarters look so much better than those pennies that Raw has. I mean, Raw just has some butt ugly titles right now.
And they released the women's title as well, with all of the women, and the tag teams in the ring. Mm-hmm. And they announced that there would be...
Becky Lynch.
Okay, we'll go there. They had a huge pop for Becky.
Becky was over in Connecticut.
I think it may be her new ring gear, because she was looking great in it. And maybe that's why she had such a huge pop, but there was not another name getting chanted while she was in the ring with everybody.
Nope, so I mean, I'm happy for Becky for that. That's awesome.
But as they go on, they announced that there will be a 6-pack women's championship match. Never been done in the WWE
Backlash,
before.
right? That's their next pay-per-view?
I believe so. Yes, sir. Backlash. So 6-pack women's championship match. All 6 women's wrestlers on SmackDown in one match.
My only problem with that is it shows the lack of depth in the women's division on SmackDown, that there's only 6 different wrestlers that can be vying for the title as of right now.
It's going to grow.
I have expectations that it's going to grow, but for right now, it shows the lack of depth.
It's going to grow, and if you look at the 6, though, I feel like it's a solid 6.
Oh, no, it's a solid 6.
Because you have Becky, Natalya, Naomi,
Nikki, Alexa Bliss.
Nikki, 4 great people who've been in the 4 good people who've been in the WWE for a little while now. And then you have Alexa Bliss and Carmella coming up, who are both really entertaining and fun to watch.
Think about it this way, though. I mean, I know it's just 6, but even when all the women's wrestlers were all on the same show,
they only use 6.
How many women's wrestlers did they use at a time?
Actually, they probably used less.
Raw's been using Charlotte and Sasha for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
I think.
So I think it'll be solid. A lot of people were clowning on it, but it's going to grow from here.
You want to talk about over, though?
Heath Slater, yeah. So they go on from the women's match to announce that they're going to have a tag team tournament, culminating at Backlash, for the tag team titles. And they have 7 tag teams on Raw.
6.
7.
6.
7.
6.
Okay, so if they have 6, and all 6 of them are in a match, how is Heath Slater and...
Shane McMahon said that if he finds a tag team partner, he'll find an 8th team. You got American Alpha, you got the knockoff of Legion of Doom. I can't remember their name. The Ascension.
The Ascension.
There you go. American Alpha, Ascension.
Vaudevillains. Febreze. The Usos. Hype Brothers.
Hype Bros. That's it. Then Heath and his...
That's what he said. He said 60.
Oh, no, I wasn't counting Heath. There is only 6.
He said 8.
I said 7. But I wasn't counting Heath.
Oh, okay.
But so... I'm mistaken. I would have sworn I'd counted 7 when I was going through earlier. But okay, there's 6 tag teams. Heath Slater comes in and decides he wants a belt. They inform him he's not equipped for the women's title.
That was hilarious.
That was great. He doesn't have the right equipment. He's also not equipped for the tag team titles because he doesn't have a teammate. So if you can get a tag team partner, we'll find a match for you in the tournament. And then if you win the tournament with that tag team partner, we will give you a contract. Mm-hmm. So there's Heath's next shot at the contract. And then you get the little bit of Styles Ziggler jumping in as Styles interrupts everything. Yeah. But you can kind of just go past that because you don't really see anything.
Styles' interaction with Heath was really funny. Heath walked up to him and Styles was like, no.
No, I don't want to be your partner.
That was great.
But then we go right from there to have a women's match.
Yep.
We got Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. Josh's 2 favorite women wrestlers.
Yep.
At the moment.
My second favorite woman wrestler at that moment because Bayley was already back on Raw.
Bayley is Bayley?
Bayley. Yeah. What up?
Sorry.
Good match.
Solid match.
Solid match. We hit the disarmor for the win.
Yep.
Then we go on there for the first round tag team match. Usos versus the Ascension. Usos go over the Ascension pretty handedly, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Hey, however, the Ascension was showing some aggression in this match.
Well, they have to. You've got to build up these teams that for so long were just laughing stocks.
Yeah,
it was just one.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm all for this.
I'm happy.
I'm all for this.
I'm happy that they were aggressive.
It was an ode to when they first got called up. They were super aggressive.
Yep.
They came out and they were dominating people. Yep. And then you had them calling out the old guys, and they had that whole New Age outlaw.
And that's where they went down.
Yeah, and then they dropped from there. So we go from that match. We'll kind of just keep going. And you have AJ Styles calling out Dolph Ziggler. He's tired of getting jumped. He's been jumped twice that night already by Dolph.
Yep.
So
in fairness, he egged Dolph on.
He did. But started getting jumped. So Ziggler starts to walk out. He gets swarmed by security and refs. And they make a match for later that night. Styles is already the number 1 contender. They gave it to him because he beat John Cena.
was anybody else confused, or was it just me, with the way they announced the stipulation? They said if AJ Styles won, he would have been the number one contender. If Ziggler won, Ziggler was going to get added to the match. That made no sense to me. That's how they first announced the stipulation.
They did announce it weird.
I don't remember that. I just remember the Ziggler part.
But before that, they had said that if AJ wins, he would be the number one contender. But if Ziggler won, then it'd be a triple threat match. So then it didn't matter if Styles won.
Yeah, I think they were just clarifying. They were trying to clarify, and it added more confusion.
Fair.
That he was the number one contender. And then you have one of my favorite moments from the night, actually. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but one of them. Nikki Bella versus Carmella. And it never actually happened. Renee Young wants to interview Nikki Bella. She's been gone on a almost career-ending neck injury. And Carmella, with some ruthless aggression attacks Nikki and destroys her. Hits her with the Bella Bomb at one point. Stands on the middle of her back with one leg on her head and just starts stomping that leg up and down on top of her head. It was an ode to, or an ode. It was a nod that she might be turning heel really soon, and by might be I mean it's probably turning heel right now.
It would make sense. She's getting zero face reaction.
I loved Carmella in NXT, and even I've been bored with her on SmackDown. So this is really intriguing. So I like it. Going forward, we have Randy Orton in the ring talking about the match.
Showed off his battle scar.
Did you notice while he was walking, he did the
and he was checking it to see if it was bleeding. So that was pretty cool.
What do you guys think of his sweater?
I kind of want one.
Yeah, that would be dope. That's what I was looking at when he was coming out. I was like, that's
dope.
actually pretty cool.
Dope.
I'm not going to lie, when I first saw it, I was like, what the hell is he wearing?
It's pretty dope.
And then, he walked out, and I realized it wasn't the old leather one that Cody Rhodes used to wear.
Yeah.
It was like an
Which
actual,
was also really dope.
Yeah.
I like Cody Rhodes.
Not as dope as, I would want it, though.
Okay.
It's really dope for, a wrestler to wear,
Yeah.
but not something
anyway,
I would want.
I saw the sweater, and I was like, that's a dope sweater.
I'd wear that sweater out in public.
Yeah.
I'd probably take it to a nice restaurant. Wine and dine it a little bit. Maybe take it back home. Just cut it. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but anyway, he gets to the ring. He's talking about how he wasn't happy with how the match ended. And right as you start to think that maybe they're going to build into something again with Brock, Bray Wyatt's music hits. Lights go out, come back up, and Bray's sitting at the edge of the ring in a rocking chair. And Bray does what Bray does best. He talks. And he talks about how he's a god and how he saw the look in Orton's face as he struggled underneath Brock. And it looks like we're going to get an Orton-Bray match.
Cool.
Be fun. That'll be fun.
So
That's something to look forward to.
that'll be a lot of fun. Go backstage, we find Heath Slater talking to Arn Anderson. He's going to try to get the enforcer of the Four Horsemen as his tag team partner. And then Arn Anderson kind of talks about how he's not really in as great a shape as he used to be. And then he finds out that he wasn't even Heath Slater's first choice. And he's like, no, and walks away. He was upset. I'm not the first choice.
Can you blame him, though? Although, I thought it was a funny nod and a nice kind of wink-wink to a few weeks ago when Heath Slater dropped Arn Anderson's real name when he said, maybe I'll get, and I can't remember his real name right now, but maybe I'll get so-and-so in the back. I think it was like Timmy or Jimmy something or other. That's Arn Anderson's real name, and then they kind of nudge it back there with that.
But anyway, instead of Heath having to go find one, somebody came and found him. And it's the same guy that kept Heath out of his contract a few weeks ago. Rhino is going to partner with Heath. So we now know that Heath has a partner. Mm-hmm. We'll see who they face next week on Raw. Do they bring up an NXT team?
Kurt Hawkins and somebody else.
Kurt Hawkins.
Hawkins is coming back.
Oh, gosh.
Can't believe they're hyping that up so much. Totally making him...
Did he just... He just took the Chuck Norris facts, and that's
that's right. Chuck Norris.
Awesome.
They're Chuck Norrising him.
It's awesome.
Anyway,
I love it,
dude. I love where Heath is right now. It's entertaining to watch both on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
And did you hear? This wasn't at this point, but at the opening segment when he came out, did you hear the crowd's reaction?
They're behind him.
They're behind him. They want him to get a contract and they want him to go somewhere with it. We get American Alpha going over on Breezango, Febreze, whatever you want to call him. And there was a moment in this match, of multiple moments in this match, that I was not sure American Alpha was pulling it off. That I thought Febreze was going to win it. Especially with Prince Pretty Tyler Breeze hitting him with that supermodel kick through the legs with that he took Kalisto out with.
Yeah.
There were a lot of moments that Febreze looked really strong.
It goes back to what Josh said about the Ascension.
You got to book them strong.
You got to book them strong now. You have to. For too long, these guys were comedy tag team people and nothing more than that. I mean, you remember when they went against Golden Truth and they had the sunburns. You know what I mean?
They're still a comedy tag team. They're just a comedy tag team
who can wrestle now.
That can wrestle. They are literally, and I was thinking they had this backstage segment. I think it was later on. Maybe it was before that. They had the backstage segment where they're sitting there drinking and they're drinking their little cocktails, and Tyler Breeze says something about how
advancing will be a breeze.
Advancing will be a breeze, and Fandango is like, yeah, and those belts will look great on our gyrating hips. And then he's like, oh, Breeze.
That was
like
awesome.
your name.
That was awesome.
He's literally Zoolander.
Yeah. They are.
He is Zoolander and Hans from
Zoolander?
Yeah, from Zoolander. That's who they are, and it's great. I like it. But anyway, we go from that tag match onto AJ Dolph, the main event. And this is what we alluded to in the SummerSlam. Dean Ambrose is sitting ringside, and AJ ends up going over on Dolph. But Dolph fought with all the heart he had. And you saw on Dean Ambrose's face, even though it would have been a triple threat match if Dolph won, Dean wanted Dolph to win in that. And there was some respect coming from Dean Ambrose towards Dolph. Every time Dolph pulled a move, every time there was a move hit on Dolph, Dean Ambrose was in Dolph's corner. And that's what I was talking about when we hit on that match at SummerSlam. That there's a bigger story going on there, and it rolled over into SmackDown. So
great match. I want more Dean Ambrose on commentary. JBL can go kiss a rock.
Yeah.
And Otunga can go back to the legal department. Morrow and Dean Ambrose commentary, I'm good.
It was great.
Now bring up freaking
JR?
No.
Bring back JR. Hashtag bring
no,
back
Daniel Bryan and Morrow.
Brian's a GM. He can't.
I know, but like, if he wasn't a GM, have you heard him on CWC?
Yeah, no,
like
it's fantastic.
them together is great.
Put Corey Graves on both shows. Corey Graves is a fantastic heel comment. I love Corey Graves. Sorry.
That was a bit much, right?
I love Corey Graves, man. He's awesome.
And I think Dean Ambrose. I think Daniel Bryan could do it. We had plenty of years where
Vince McMahon was
a commentator while owning.
But
we had plenty of years.
Kayfabe-wise, it wasn't known that Vince McMahon was the owner.
We had plenty of years where Bischoff was on commentary and part of NWO.
Again, kayfabe-wise, Bischoff wasn't known to be any type of managing partner
he was.
of WCW. Not at that time. Later on, but when Bischoff was first brought on air, he wasn't known to be a backstage person.
I'm thinking of even later on,
even later
the
on,
whole
that
NWO
still
show.
doesn't
He was
apply. Still doesn't apply. Even with Vince McMahon, people knew he was that guy. Even later on, and he still was.
Well, it wasn't until the whole Bret Hart thing where he stepped off from being commentary and kind of took the mask off and became the villain that he became. Yeah. It took a storyline to bring that out.
Yeah,
so I think it'd be dope. But anyway,
yeah. So that was SmackDown.
AJ Styles wins.
AJ Styles won. Yeah.
So Backlash will be Dean Ambrose against AJ Styles for the WWE title.
Go AJ.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling AJ
Root
right
for
now.
AJ.
He beat Cena clean. It makes sense for him to win the title.
Yeah, he needs to win. But yeah, that was Raw and SmackDown on SummerSlam.
This week in WWE.
This week.
So moving on, we have our favorite wrestling video games. First, I'm going to go ahead and we had a couple people respond to us this week on Twitter that's saying what theirs was. Yeah, so always. If we have something, go ahead and give us some feedback on Twitter, on YouTube, anything. Let us know. We'll read it here on the show. We appreciate feedback, anything, really. So today, or this week's, is your favorite wrestling video game. There's a lot to choose from. We have Jason. It's his handle is Deadshot_Quinn. Go ahead and follow him or her, whatever they want to do that. So he put for sure and had a picture of Smackdown. Here comes the pain.
Oh, Smackdown 2, wasn't it?
Smackdown. Yes, Smackdown. Here comes the pain. That's Smackdown. And then
he was talking about the number 2.
Yeah, the number 2. That was the
second
one.
Smackdown game.
Yeah, I thought you just said that was a Smackdown.
Because the first one was Smackdown. No, that was the third one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Smackdown. It was
you got
second
Smackdown.
Smackdown.
Then you got Smackdown Just Bring It, and then Smackdown Here Comes the Pain.
Correctamundo.
Okay.
So, and then we also had a 7 Rollins 02 with the Twitter handle Francis41525706.
Francis.
Smackdown Here Comes the Pain was their choice also.
Here Comes the Pain was a fantastic game.
Should we call him Ajax?
Ajax, what?
Deadpool, nobody Francis. Alright, I'm a nerd, guys. I'm sorry.
So, anyway, both of them chose Smackdown Here Comes the Pain. Great video game. I'm going to swing it over to Mario.
Okay.
What's your favorite wrestling video game?
In that vein, I mean, you've got some great games that came out prior to what I would consider the modern console generation, starting with what I consider the modern console generation to start with, right around N64, Sega Dreamcast, PS1, that era. PS1, the original Smackdown.
Very first Smackdown.
Very first Smackdown. Just the level of customization that we had for creator wrestlers at the time was unheard of. It had the pseudo-franchise type mode where you can, run through a season, as it said it, of SmackDown, of Raw, with a created character, which was dope. And it was just, for me, because prior to that, I didn't really have any video games, and it was my first real experience to gaming on the PS1 was with SmackDown. At the time, I was involved in a college program, so at 10 years old, I'm off to school and I'm playing video games with the RAs and stuff. It was dope. It was a great bonding experience. So SmackDown, the original, the first one.
Very first one.
Yep.
Kai, what you got, man?
Mine's also going to be the first game I ever got. PlayStation 1, and it was WCW Thunder.
Nice.
Oh, yes, I had that one
and
also.
It was the same reason. It was the first game I ever had. So it was great. You had the ability to go through and win a championship with your favorite wrestler. So you could go in as... I was kind of partial to Raven's flock at the time. So I would go in as Raven, and I would do the 10-match series that you had to go through and win every match in the series. Then you'd finally get to face Hulk Hogan for the championship at the 10th match. And it was I'm gonna get all three all the titles on Raven, and then I'm gonna go get the tag team titles, and I'm gonna put them on Raven and Saturn because that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd be all right, now I'm gonna pick a new wrestler and I'm gonna go get all the titles on it. And it was the first game I ever really had outside of the regular Nintendo Mortal Kombat stuff.
Nice. Mine would be a game that I actually never even owned. And it's the game that rivaled the first Smackdown. WWF No Mercy on N64.
Game was legit.
Yeah.
You want to talk about customization. That game killed it on customization. I would go to friends' houses to play that game. I had a PlayStation at my house. I had the Smackdown games at my house. But when I would go to my friend's house, I would play No Mercy and just be blown away by everything that you can customize. You can change the outfits. You can change the colors of the existing superstars. They didn't bring that back into the games until a few years ago in the 2K series.
Yep.
But they had that on an N64 video game.
That game was legit.
So much customization, so much fun. The animations were great, how the wrestlers interacted with each other and the impact that they had with the environment, with each other. Dude, hands down, my favorite wrestling video game. I am hoping Because after that would be Here Comes the Pain also. I mean, because Here Comes the Pain had a dope story mode. But yeah, the reason why I didn't mention that because our fans mentioned that one. So, but yeah, I am hoping this year, 2K17, I'm going to get this year's game. I haven't gotten one in the last few years.
If you have Xbox Live Gold, 2K16 is free with Games of Gold if you want to play with us.
Yeah, I actually got it a week ago. A week ago.
A week ago.
Sorry.
I've
had it for a year. So
yeah, I got it for free. So, but
hashtag if it's free, it's for me.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this year's 2K17. It's got some dope things. Stay up on IGN for updates because they have some dope updates, some entrances. I don't know if you've seen Goldberg's entrance this week on IGN, but man, the graphics look ridiculous. But I'm pumped. I'm pumped for it. Looking forward to it. So that wraps up our favorite segment for last week. This upcoming week, our favorite segment is going to be what, Mario?
Well, I figure next week, or in 9 days, next week, it's going to be opening kickoff for college football.
Yeah.
And a lot of the superstars that have come through the WWE started in college football or played professionally, a few of them. So what I figured is, who is your favorite wrestler who originally started off as a football player? American football player, for those international people who associate football with soccer.
What about Baron Corbin?
Baron Corbin is he's a former professional football player.
Favorite.
You know,
the fave.
Former Golden Gloves boxing champion.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
You know, but
I have mine.
But anyway, that's the favorite for next week. So your favorite former college
or pro, either or, former football player turned wrestler.
No, favorite former football player
turned wrestler.
There you go. All right. But yeah, that wraps up the show, guys.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. It's good to have you back.
The boys are back in town.
Boys are back in town.
Actually,
I missed the musical episode last week,
was
so
the
that's why I wanted to
musical
sing. I needed to get my singing.
It was. But always, guys, this is the Realest Guys podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Realest Guys PC. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube, on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and
follow us on Twitch.
Yeah, follow us on Twitch, our new channel. So, because we're going to be putting some videos up there. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to us, if you haven't followed us, and you haven't liked us, there's really only one word to describe you. And I think Mario's going to spell it out for you.
SAWFT.
Soft. All right, guys. Tune in next week. Holla.